Hello world, you are in the Beat Sessions and I'm your host Mitchell Weary. It's that magical time of year again where all of us critics put together our list of what was the best in 2020. It's also that magic time where you get to tell us who we left off the list and why it sucks because of that and why we really probably have no business doing this in the first place. But before you leave a scathing comment deriding me for my list and who I left off of it, please subscribe to my channel and like this video. Help me grow this project. So let's get right into it, starting with number 10. Gorillaz Machine Season 1, Strange Times. It's pretty amazing that after 20 years, Damon Albarn & co. are still finding ways to keep their virtual band innovative and fresh. A testament, I would argue, to Albarn's credibility as a musician. This record started off as individual songs released with a corresponding video, and ultimately Albarn decided that they belonged together in the album format. This record combines his old school influences with new school sensibilities, evinced by the awesome number of special guests on this record, from The Cure's Robert Smith and New Order's Peter Hook, to St. Vincent and Beck, into the hip-hop genre with artists like Slow Tie, Black, and Schoolboy Q. Key tracks on this record include Aries and Valley of the Pagans. Number 9 on the list is Waxahachie with St. Cloud. On her 5th LP under this moniker, Katie Crutchfield ditches the alt-rock veneer of 2017's Out in the Storm to deliver a country folk experience inspired by artists like Loretta Lynn and Tammy Wynette. This album is about her struggle with alcoholism and her subsequent sobriety. And while alcoholism isn't something that all of us can relate to, we can all relate to the idea that life is challenging, and in facing those challenges, we often have to deal with brutal self-reflection. That's really what this album is about and why I love it so much. Key tracks on this record include Fire and War. Coming in at number 8 are The Strokes with The New Abnormal. Let's face it, it's been a long time since The Strokes have put out a good record. So it came as a relief to me that when The New Abnormal dropped, the album saw the New York Quintet get back to their roots and creativity on albums like Is This It and Room on Fire. This album has lots of strong hooks, that signature catchy riff play that Nick Valenci and Albert Hammond Jr. are so well known for. Key tracks on this record include Eternal Summer and Why Are Sundays So Depressing. And number 7 is Megan Thee Stallion with Good News. It's hard to argue that anybody had a better 2020 than Megan Thee Stallion. She saw her first 2 #1 singles top the charts in Savage featuring Beyonce and WAP featuring Cardi B respectively. And even after being shot in the foot over the summer, rose to the occasion and became a very prominent figure in the movement to end violence towards women. Really, truly a testament to her character and the type of person that she is. Her debut, Good News, is about leaving the bad behind and embracing the positive. Now, the album starts with a track that's pretty spicy. It's called Shots Fired. It is about that shooting incident, accusing a certain rapper who will remain nameless because screw that guy, he doesn't deserve any publicity. But it samples Biggie's Who Shot Ya. It's a pretty darn good track, and I'm a big fan. But the rest of the album is very lighthearted. Megan bringing that good news. It's just a fun record. I think Cyndi Lauper would be very proud of our girl with her efforts on this one. My key tracks on this include Do It on the Tip featuring City Girls and Hot Girl Meg, and Crybaby featuring DaBaby. Number 6 is Ohms from the Deftones. Drummer Abe Cunningham describes the band's 9th studio LP as beauty meets brutality, and he could not have hit the nail more on the head. This is definitely the Deftones' hardest hitting effort since releasing White Pony in 2000, and I attribute that to the return of longtime producer Terry Date, who worked with the band on their first 4 records. He manages to tap into that signature style of metal meets grooviness. You get Stephen Carpenter's sonic guitar riffs over just wonderful chugging rhythms throughout this album. They sound revitalized and refreshed. Key tracks on this record include Ceremony and Urantia. In at the number 5 spot is Taylor Swift with Folklore. Like most people in 2020, Taylor Swift found herself canceling her plans for the rest of the year right around the time that spring rolled in. And so what did she do? She teamed up with Aaron Dessner and Jack Antonoff, retreated to Long Pond Studios, and created arguably the best record of her career a mere 11 months after putting out Lover. In a bold move, she ditches the glam pop of previous records to deliver an elegant, introspective folk experience. She also does the genre honor by abandoning her autobiographical songwriting style, ubiquitous throughout her catalog, and embracing the traditional third-person folk writing style, and creates stories that are really intimate for any listener. Key tracks on this album include The One and August. Taking hold of the number 4 spot is The Love of My Life, Dua Lipa with Future Nostalgia. Move over, Lady Gaga, because there is a new queen of pop in 2020. On her sophomore LP, Future Nostalgia, Dua Lipa combines that powerful voice of hers with a visceral fusion of disco and contemporary pop that can be described as nothing short of brilliant. Frankly, this is the dance album that all of us needed in 2020. I love all the sick bass riffs, the solid production. This album is really just a cohesive tour de force, proof that Dua Lipa is not just out there trying to write hit singles, but actually creating albums as a whole, and much respect for that. Key tracks on this record include Physical and Break My Heart, featuring a sample of INXS's I Need You Tonight. And Dua, girl, I got feelings for you. I need you tonight. The number 3 spot belongs to Run the Jewels 4. On their 4th record in 7 years, the duo of Killer Mike and LP have fine-tuned their lyrically driven style to drop what is arguably their best effort to date. LP's beautiful and vivid production leaves Killer Mike lots of room to deliver what is arguably one of his best lyrical performances. On the song Pulling the Pin, he says, "F the political, the mission is spiritual." And every track on this record seems to embody that idea. This is a genre-bending, hard-hitting call to arms that fosters a desire for social awareness without being preachy. And that's really key to their concept and why these guys have been so successful over the years. Key tracks on this record include Just, featuring Pharrell and Zach De La Rocha, and Ooh La La, featuring Greg Nice and DJ Premier. Number 2, my man, Mr. Bob Dylan with Rough and Rowdy Ways. It's amazing that Bob Dylan continues to make career-defining work this late in his career. And maybe it's a testament to our favorite Rolling Stones' ability to capture time and frame it in words in a way that no other songwriter has been able to. On his 39th studio LP, the 79-year-old singer delivers us Rough and Rowdy Ways, which really is on par with albums like Time Out of Mind and Love and Theft. The 79-year-old singer confronts the specter of death and delivers haunting lyrics that balance his cantankerous wit beautifully. Key tracks on this album include Key West and False Prophet. And coming in at number 1 is Fiona Apple with Fetch the Bolt Cutters. So there you have it, your number 1 album of 2020. And while many of you probably agree with this decision, those of you who don't cannot deny the sheer brilliance of this record. Apple recorded and produced this record over the course of the last 5 years, which makes it seem eerily prescient but totally appropriate for release in 2020. She enlisted help from bass player Sebastian Steinberg, drummer Amy Wood, and multi-instrumentalist Matt Garza to create a record that truly pushes the bounds of what music can be. Perfect example is the title track, Fetch the Bolt Cutters, where it sounds like Amy Wood seriously just wanders into Fiona Apple's kitchen with her drumsticks and starts tapping on anything and everything around her, but in a way that would make the guys from Stomp green with envy. The title itself, Fetch the Bolt Cutters, suggests, a concept of breaking free from the things that limit our happiness, but it's all about doing it in a way that is signature to Fiona Apple's style, a manner that is defiantly unapologetic, and she really is on this record. She is brutally honest and so witty, and I absolutely love her ability to create a record that is just unpredictable and completely human. Key tracks on this record include Shamika, Ladies, and Under the Table. Check it out. This has been the top 10 albums of 2020 on the Beat Sessions. Appreciate you tuning in. Take care of yourselves, and we will see you next year.